Ray Kroc was 52 years old, broke by entrepreneurial standards, and still driving across America selling milkshake machines when he stumbled upon a small burger restaurant in California. Decades later, that discovery would become McDonald's, one of the most valuable and recognizable brands in the world. But here's the twist. Ray Kroc didn't create McDonald's. He wasn't the inventor, he wasn't the founder, he was simply the man who saw what everyone else overlooked. Behind a tiny restaurant was a system so powerful it could change how the world ate forever. If you're into real stories of power, money, and transformation, subscribe, because this global empire began with one struggling salesman who refused to think small. 1. The salesman running out of time. Raymond Albert Kroc was born in Illinois in 1902 to a family of hard-working immigrants. From an early age, he learned that success was never guaranteed and that every dollar had to be earned. When his father died, the family's financial security disappeared, forcing Ray to grow up quickly. As a teenager, he took whatever jobs he could find, selling products, working long hours, and constantly searching for opportunities. More importantly, he discovered a skill that would define his future: the ability to persuade people. Long before he became a business icon, he was learning how to sell an idea, a product, or even a dream to complete strangers. As the years passed, Ray chased one opportunity after another, convinced that his big break was still somewhere ahead. He sold paper cups during the day, played piano at night, and worked schedules that would exhaust most people. By his late 30s, he had secured the exclusive rights to sell the multi-mixer, a machine capable of making several milkshakes at the same time. It seemed like a promising business, and for a while, it provided a decent living. But there was a problem. Despite decades of relentless work, Ray was still far from wealthy. By the time he reached his 50s, most people were settling into stable careers or preparing for retirement. Instead, he was driving thousands of miles across America, still chasing the breakthrough that had somehow escaped him for more than 30 years. 2. The restaurant that shouldn't have existed. One day in the early 1950s, Ray noticed something that immediately caught his attention. A small restaurant in San Bernardino, California, had ordered an unusually large number of multi-mixers. Most diners needed one machine, maybe two. This place needed several. Curious and sensing that something unusual was happening, he decided to see it for himself. After a long trip across the country, he arrived expecting to find a busy restaurant. What he found instead was something that looked surprisingly simple from the outside. Yet behind those walls was a system unlike anything he had ever seen. The restaurant belonged to two brothers, Richard and Morris McDonald. While other restaurants offered huge menus and slow service, the brothers had stripped everything down to the essentials. Customers could choose from a small selection of popular items, and every employee performed a specific task with incredible efficiency. Burgers, fries, and milkshakes moved through the kitchen almost like products on a factory assembly line. Orders that normally took several minutes were completed in seconds. At a time when most restaurants struggled with consistency and speed, the McDonald brothers had quietly created a revolutionary system. What happened next changed everything. Ray immediately realized he wasn't looking at a successful restaurant. He was looking at a blueprint that could transform an entire industry. 3. The opportunity everyone else ignored. The McDonald brothers had already built a successful business, but they had little interest in creating a massive empire. They preferred stability over expansion. Ray saw the situation differently. America was changing. Suburbs were growing. Families were buying cars. Highways were expanding across the country. Millions of people wanted convenience, speed, and consistency. The brothers had unknowingly built the perfect business for the moment. Ray proposed a national franchising strategy. He imagined identical restaurants operating from coast to coast. But the industry wasn't ready for such ambition. Franchising at the time was chaotic. Many chains struggled to maintain quality and consistency. Investors were skeptical. Restaurant owners doubted the concept. Even the McDonald brothers questioned whether such aggressive growth made sense. Yet Ray could not let go of the vision. For him, this was no longer a business opportunity. It had become an obsession. 4. The gamble that nearly broke him. In 1955, Ray launched McDonald's franchising operations. The risk was enormous. He invested money he could barely afford to lose. Early profits were disappointing. Expenses piled up. The business expanded, but cash remained dangerously tight. There were moments when the entire dream appeared close to collapse. Few people realize how fragile McDonald's truly was during those years. And that's when the story took a darker turn. Ray realized that selling burgers alone would never create the empire he envisioned. The breakthrough came from real estate. Instead of simply collecting franchise fees, McDonald's began purchasing land and leasing it to franchise owners. It was a brilliant shift. The company no longer depended entirely on burger sales. It controlled the locations themselves. That single decision transformed McDonald's from a restaurant business into a real estate powerhouse disguised as a fast food chain. 5. From burger stand to global giant. The results were extraordinary. By the late 1950s, McDonald's had already sold hundreds of millions of hamburgers. In 1961, Ray acquired full control of the company and accelerated expansion even further. He created Hamburger University to train franchise operators, ensuring every restaurant delivered the same experience. Consistency became the brand's greatest weapon. Whether a customer visited in Illinois or California, the meal felt familiar. The momentum became unstoppable. The Golden Arches emerged as one of the most recognizable symbols in modern business. New products like the Big Mac strengthened the brand. International expansion pushed McDonald's into Canada, Europe, Asia, and beyond. By the time the company went public in the 1960s, investors recognized they were witnessing something historic. What had started as a small California restaurant was becoming one of the largest consumer brands ever created. Ray Kroc died in 1984 at the age of 81. By then, the company had already transformed the restaurant industry forever. But his real achievement was not selling hamburgers. It was recognizing the power hidden inside a simple idea and refusing to let it remain small. While others saw a successful restaurant, he saw a system capable of reaching the entire world. The contrast is almost unbelievable. A salesman who spent decades chasing opportunities eventually built an empire that serves millions every day across more than 100 countries. But was Ray Kroc a visionary who unlocked the potential of McDonald's, or a businessman who benefited from an idea created by others? And would the McDonald brothers have built the same empire without him? Subscribe for more stories like this, where ambition, risk, and vision reshape the world.